some of these pre-recorded.
Hey guys, welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. Sorry about that. We don't know where Temba is. I've tried to call him, his phone is off. So I'm sorry about that. Something must have happened. I don't know what happened. So we're going to give you guys a Q&A session right now. Sorry for that. We tried to organize it and it hasn't come to fruition like we wanted it to. I will try again for tomorrow and I will be in contact again to see what happens with Temba. But right now we've got... we can have a little bit of a Q&A session right now with you guys and see what happens if you guys can join. I'm sorry again that this has happened. I thought that it would take place today. It seemed good. I did everything on my part. I don't know what has happened on his side, but we'll try to get him again on another day. I will continue trying until we get him and we get an opportunity to ask him questions. But get your questions in, guys. I know this is a little bit embarrassing for us all, especially me, and I'm sorry about that. And I didn't do this obviously intentionally. I do want to get this interview with Timba going. So, thank you, Khalid. I'm sure you are pronouncing Aditya's name wrong. Am I pronouncing your name wrong, Aditya?
Not quite. And what
Okay.
prompted the question, though?
Yeah. What prompted the question? Let us know. We would like to know what you think, why you think I'm saying his name wrong. Should Miller play at five continuously? Look here, guys, we're doing a show on that, and I'm getting a special guest on the show as well to talk about David Miller. We had a show planned for today until Timba asked for today's interview, but then we switched it, and obviously we can't do that show today, so we'll do it again um, some other day. Probably maybe Friday or third tomorrow, dependable on when we can get the Timba Pavuma interview for you guys. So we will answer those questions on that show. Ask us anything else so far. If you want anything else to know anything else.
But that
What's
innings yesterday was bomb, man. That innings yesterday was absolute masterclass.
you're saying it right now all of a sudden? Where did I say it wrong? I don't know. You sound like one of Amber Heard's witnesses. You're not trolling me, are you, Reddit? Reddit John. Am I saying your name right? Is the question. That's the real question. So there's a second question over there, Aditya. Probably for you. These for you. How do you know so much about South Africa? Let them know.
If you're referring to South African cricket, I mean, I've been following South African cricket since I've been following cricket. So that's been a pretty continuous process. And if you're talking about South Africa, the country generally, I've spent quite a lot of time there. I did my master's thesis research in South Africa, and um, yeah, I've spent quite a bit of time in Johannesburg, Cape Town, a little bit of time in Durban as well, and yeah, it's one of my favorite countries to visit. I think of it as a second home. Yeah, and I love it.
Mhm. Second question also for you, Aditya. Where do you
Mumbai,
live in India?
Mumbai, brother.
Hmm. Yep, I knew that, guys. Way. But then it's saying perfect. Any all round in domestic who can play for South Africa. Well, plenty. There are a lot of all rounders around that I think can really push for success in the future. But particularly at the moment on the fringes, there aren't many that have been consistent, particularly with the bat. I think our all rounders struggle with the bat in general. But when I look at them and I think of them, I would maybe throw a Jason Smith into the mix. I'm a big fan of Mapongwana. I like what I've seen from the likes of Delano Potgieter. Um, they are the likes of, I would throw Brian Bryce Parsons into the mix as well. There's been quite a few guys that have really impressed me in the all-rounders department. Fariska Adams, I think, has been overlooked in the past. Unfortunately, that is the case. And yeah, Those are some of the names that I can think of off the top of my head. We've got Gerald Kutsia that I'm hoping he can get more um, consistent with the bat in the future. That's going to be very important, that he does get that consistency with the bat. But he's with the ball. We know what he's capable of. It's a similar situation with most of our, I think our seamers coming through the system right now. I think a lot of them are starting to try and bat as well. I put up an interesting little clip of Bjorn Fortuin on TikTok today. It's just a little clip from our previous interview where he speaks about that specifically. If you guys want to go ahead and watch it, you'll get some insight from that, on adding certain things to your game to improve your game as an all-rounder. Um, Dwayne Janssen's another opportunity, is another option as well. Yeah, he's very similar to his brother. Can South Africa give chance to Janssen in the test arena? I think before we just start giving youngsters opportunities left, right, and center, I think they first need to prove themselves at a certain level, consistently. And I think domestically, he hasn't necessarily been the player that we thought he would be in 4-day cricket. But unfortunately, he had an injury as well before he came into the domestic setup. So we've got what we've got with Dwan Janssen. He needs I think he needs a couple of seasons to get some rhythm under his belt and some game time under his belt. Aditya, what's your thoughts on some of the all rounders, maybe in South Africa that you?
The expectation for the all-rounder position at the moment is how well they can do with the bat, because Vian Mulder is doing well with the ball, and Marco Janssen, unless you consider him to be a specialist bowler, has shown his mettle with the ball, but he's yet to deliver with the bat. So I think that's certainly a question for the all-rounders in the system. But yeah, as you said, it's the performance with the bat at the moment that needs a little bit of work.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the next one is from Renat. He says predictions for the T20s against India. Now, I predict South Africa should win this. I think I'll be actually quite disappointed if South Africa don't, because they're fielding basically their best team and their best squad they're taking to India. It's not like they're playing a weakened side. They're playing a very good side. And if I put the squad up on the screen for you guys to have a look, if I still have it available here, yes, I do. So if you look at the squad, it's quite a strong squad. If you look at it, I mean, we've got a nice balanced side. There are quite a few batters that are going through. So it's a very, very strong batting team. So I'm hoping that South Africa can really come through and get a win, because we are fielding our best team. So yes, India's second team, or whatever the case may be, if you want to call it that, is really good. We've seen a lot of those players and how they're performing in the IPL this season. They're coming off some good form. But I expect South Africa to win something like this. What is your thoughts on that, Aditya?
I think India will win it.
Really? You that confident?
Yeah, I do. Because even though a lot of India's main players are not playing, um, the players who have been sufficiently exposed to international cricket and the IPL for a considerable period of time. So I don't think they're that inexperienced. So I think India has the firepower to win. So I imagine that it's probably like a 3-2 or 4-1 sort of victory for India.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I don't agree, but okay, that's good to not agree. How do you feel about Rasi not getting in any game time for Rajasthan? Well, Aditya explains it quite nicely on the reasons why, but I am a bit feeling a bit let down, because I really wanted to see him, especially the way Rajasthan have been performing. Necessarily, it's been quite up and down. So I really thought that they needed someone like Rasi in that middle order, or to really, be that dominant overseas player for them. We saw David Miller's cheeky tweet to them after he won, after he beat them yesterday. So like it's a bit hurtful for me as a South African fan not to see Rassie, and I'm a big Rassie fan too. So it's a bit hurtful, because I know the guy gives 100% every single time he goes out to the middle. So it is a bit hurtful from that part. Aditya, you can explain to the guys maybe what your reasoning is behind why you think they're not making it, or why it doesn't make the side.
Yeah, so what's happening is that Josh Butler has to play at the top of the order, and they typically want to use two overseas bowlers because you look at the Indian contingent, it it's good, but it lacks a little bit of experience. So um, they would want so they want to have Trent Bolt there. They want to have Obed McCoy there as the overseas bowlers, which leaves one overseas spot in the middle order. So it's a toss up between Shimron Hetmeyer and Rassi. And given that the only vacant position there is 5 or 6, they feel like Shimron Hetmeyer is the sort of player who can get going straight away, which Rassi perhaps cannot. So that's the reasoning.
Mhm. Yeah, Rassi, we're going to be talking about it for quite some time to see where he's going to fit into the lineup. And a lot of people have been saying maybe five, some people even saying three, some people even suggested that he should open the batting. So it has been a little bit up and down with regards to us understanding where he's going to be playing. I thought there was going to be a little bit more clarity if we got to see him play in the IPL, but unfortunately that's not the case. We'll have to wait and see how he performs against India when they do travel there. So I'm interested to see what's going to be happening over there. So yeah, so the guys out there, just want to say I'm sorry about the fact that the Timba interview didn't happen. It must be something that happened on his side that on his side that happened that is unexplainable that he can't explain because I couldn't get through to him either, so it might be loaching. I don't know what it is. We'll find out from him and try to reschedule the interview. We will try to get to you guys again. I'm sorry that this happened to you guys. This doesn't ever happen. We've never cancelled interviews before. We've always gotten on board. So, and even the last time Timba was on a show with us, he was very prompt actually, and on time. So, I'm sorry about that. I'm apologizing on his front as well. But we will try to get you the interview as soon as possible on a day that we can, that suits both of us, and we'll try to get you that interview as soon as possible. So, guys, um, we just wanted to do a little Q&A with you guys today because we thought we can't just give you nothing. We do a show every day. This is what we do. We do a live show every single day, and we thought we still have to give you something. So yeah, Aditya, your thoughts on who will make it to the final of the IPL and meet the Titans? I mean, currently the RCB is playing quite well, but we know that even with wickets down, they can
Yeah.
come back. So it's never
Yes,
over in the IPL.
it's never over till it's over. Yeah, so right now it's 110 required of 54 balls, and yeah, let's see how it goes. Lucknow won 98 for 2 after 11 overs. So
Mhm.
yeah, let's see. I think if um, at the moment they've got a decent hold on the Lucknow batting lineup. They haven't really been able to go all guns blazing. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
They do have Evan Lewis and Marcus Stoinis and Krunal Pandya still in the ranks. So we'll have to wait and see.
Mhm. Okay, let's thoughts on Lungi. Do you think he should be a SAT 20 bowling lineup? Yes, I think he's one of our best T20
Yeah,
bowlers, actually,
I
in
think
my
it should be.
opinion. I think it's also a bit sad for him that he's not getting game time in the IPL. Um, Aditya, you want to answer this too?
Yeah, again, it's a combination thing, right? Because you look at Delhi and they've they've got a decent set of bowlers, uh, but they haven't really been able to fit Lungi in, and I think it's also down to the conditions here, because all the games were played in Maharashtra. It's quite a bit of humidity, and I don't know if Lungi is Lungi's lost a bit of pace. Um, so you know, I don't know if they're entirely convinced if he's he's as effective with the wet bowlers, perhaps. Under Nokia might be, or with his extra pace and so on. So,
Mm.
but I don't know. I haven't heard from the Delhi management as to why
Yeah,
he hasn't been included.
it's been quite
But
quiet around him.
in saying that, Lungi's often said that in previous seasons when he hasn't played all games for Chennai, he's actually learned more from those seasons. because he's been able to get time to develop his skills. So
No,
perhaps this can be one of those
that's
seasons.
taking the positives out of it.
Yeah, so South Africa will benefit from it then, right? Because no one's
Yeah,
actually seen what else he can do.
true. Maybe he's added some variations that we don't know about because I think Lungi is a type of bowler I feel that can add a lot of skills. He can be that versatile bowler for South Africa that can add different types of skills to his game. Lorenzo saying, Khalid, for me, between Ngidi and Nokia, I'll go with Nokia all day long. One word, X Factor. I mean, yeah, between Ngidi and Nokia, a lot of people would. I think the only way Ngidi probably gets into this team is if we're playing. I think he's the third seamer. And if they don't play an extra spinner, I think then Ngidi plays over anybody else, I feel. Um, but there is a way to fit all three in. If we can fit Ngidi, Nokia, and Rabada into the team, I think that's a very lethal bowling attack. But then I don't think that will happen in spinning conditions. Maybe, perhaps. I do though believe that on a slower wicket, Ngidi is better than Nokia, in my opinion. I think on a slower wicket, Ngidi is really dangerous because of the pace he takes off the ball. I think Nokia will probably go to the boundary a lot easier in those type of conditions. But Nokia, I haven't. You see, Nokia has also improved, and I haven't necessarily seen for South Africa yet how he's going to be playing yet because he's been out for quite some time for South Africa, so we haven't seen him play for quite some time. Funny enough, so that's unfortunate. I want to wait and see what he does in India, and then I will start seeing and judging. It's good that we have so many options, though. I like the fact that we have options. Lawrence Bailey saying Rajasthan Royals missed a trick by not playing Rasi more, I think. I mean, at times they played with only three overseas players and still not picked him. He needs a new franchise, right, Aditya?
Look, in an ideal situation, you want Rasi to be in that top four, right? And I mean, like I've mentioned earlier, I don't know how they could have fit Rasi in, if I'm being perfectly honest, because you have Yashasvi Jaiswal and Joss Butler opening the batting. You have Sanju Samson at three. You have Devdutt Padikkal at four. Where are you going to fit him?
Hmm.
That's it's yeah. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I look. I know that the franchise really likes him, and Rasi gets along well with the franchise, But I don't know where he'd fit in there because you can't play Rasi any lower than four. I mean, I know South Africa plays him at five at times, but I'm not sure that that's making the best use of Rasi's talent.
Hmm. Um, Abinab says Rashi should play for KKR at middle. My bowling attack for South Africa in Australia, KG, Nokia, Marco, Shamsi, Dwayne, and Markram as six bowling option. Interesting. On tired pitches in the UAE, Nokia was our best bowler. Pure pace on slowish pitches can be lethal as well, as it will be too paced for the batters. True as well. Interesting points as well. I know pace is also very lethal. I would just like to see Nokia use those Yorkers a lot more often. He has a very lethal Yorker, and I would love to see him use that Yorker a lot more often. He doesn't use it enough, I feel, and it is quite lethal. I'll never forget that spell. Um, I'll never forget that spell from him against Josh Butler in the IPL that one season when he clocked 157, 158. It was incredible bowling that spell. And when Nokia's firing, he's unstoppable. So for me, right now, Nokia is great, but and he is one of our best bowlers. Him and KG, I think together they are excellent. Um, but yeah, it depends on for me. Still, it does depend on the wickets and who you're playing. But because I mean, I've seen Lungi being lethal for South Africa too, but in times when Nokia wasn't available as well. So we'll have to see. It's about form, I think, going into that World Cup. I don't think it's about personnel more. It's more about form, I think. Whoever's hitting the form at that particular time and heading into the World Cup should play. Um, I think form is very important when it comes to World Cups. Um, who do you think is currently best T20 batter in SA? For me, I would have to say, ooh, it's a tough one. You see, internationally at the moment, it's Aiden, based on the recent form and the World Cup and recent form leading up into right now. He maybe never showed his capabilities towards the end of his IPL stint right now. He showed a lot at the beginning. And we can't look past David Miller and what David Miller did recently and in previous matches too. You can't look past him as well. I think he's also top notch. And but if you look at overall, if you're taking in IPL into consideration as well, then I have to say, we have to go with I'll have to go with Aiden Markram. What's your thoughts on that, Aditya, right now? Who's the best currently?
And by a long mile, it's Faf du Plessis.
No,
But
yeah,
yeah,
besides Faf,
but
yeah.
if okay,
Obviously, okay, it's Faf, yeah, but obviously. But I mean, like, so
yeah,
if you're talking about current South African Proteas players.
yeah, yeah. So I think I'd say Aiden Markram, Rassi van der Dussen, and um, Aiden Markram, Rassi van der Dussen, and David Miller. That combination is pretty lethal. But the key is the key for them is that they all have to be batting in the right positions, and they have to get into the game at the right time. Because if all of these individuals have enough time to get into the game, then you can see the best of them. Otherwise, we're not really using their talent as well as they possibly could. Like I think this season, the Gujarat Titans has made proper use of David Miller. You should have seen Hardik Pandya's interview yesterday post match. He was really proud of David Miller. Most people would have counted him out, but we have complete faith in David Miller's abilities, and they gave him an opportunity up the order, and they said, we have faith in your ability, but if you fail, it's only a game, no problem. That's literally what he said in exact words.
Yeah. So remember, guys, we will be doing a show on David Miller. Here's the guest that I'll be bringing on. Neo Fellaini is in the comments. He'll be coming on the show when we do the show. I will still confirm with him which day it will be, but he's got an excellent point here. He says, "Who's your preferred second spinner or all-rounder white ball cricket, especially since Aiden Markham can bowl good overs in 7 to 15 with Tristan Stubbs? Bjorn, 3-in-1 player who dominates PP1. It's a specialist skill on its own." Whew. He will, of course, ask because he's a professional cricketer. So, of course, he's going to ask me difficult questions on the show. I mean, so my preferred second spinner all rounder would have to be. That's a tough question. It would have been. It would have been George Linder for a very long time. Actually, George was one of my first spinning all rounders that I really liked a lot. But since South Africans don't seem to be picking him, which is pretty weird, um, I wouldn't count necessarily. Okay, you can count Aiden as a spinning all rounder. So I'm going to put him probably as the one for us at the moment. And it has to be soon to be maybe even Deva Brevis coming through the system is sooner enough. Hopefully, he gets some more extra time and playing. But we've got quite a few spinning all rounders. There's Sinara Mutasame. There's also Bjorn Fortuin now as well. He's showing his capabilities with the bat. I think he's becoming that sooner or later. But for me, I have to say George Linder, based on domestic cricket, what he's been doing in domestic cricket, what he did for South Africa. Yeah, for me, it's George Linder. Who's yours, Aditya?
It's an interesting question, Neo. But I think South Africa is challenged by the fact that they can't risk going into a T20 international of batsman light, because if you do include Bjorn Fontaine in that 11, and I totally agree, it's a specialist skill to have a spinner ball in the power play. He's a 3-in-1 player. But I think it's the top order inconsistency that that dictates whether or not you can have that sort of play, I think.
Yeah. I read this long. You meant with the pressure, not just the stumps. I thought he was only talking about all rounders. Sorry, my bad, my man. I messed that one up. So
Yeah.
with the pressure,
See, for example, if you look at the Sunrisers Hyderabad here, they have Washington Sundar in there who has that role of bowling in the power play as a spinner, uh, but that doesn't always you can't always have that unless your top four are consistent. So you have Abhishek Sharma who did well, Ken Williamson who didn't, Rahul Tripathi at three, and Aiden Markram at four. So three of your four top order players, and Nicholas Puran at five. So four of your five batters in the group are doing well. So then you can afford to have that. But I don't know if South Africa can afford to have that at the moment.
if
Like
you
at least
guys
for all
know,
conditions.
yeah. If you guys know how many tours of subcontinent are scheduled before 2023 50 over World Cup in India, I'll have to go check that, guys. I don't know all of it out of my head. That's a lot to you. You're asking me right now. They're saying, Aditya, when are you going to become a Proteus camp as an analyst? Um, very, very soon, I guess. Huh?
I mean, happy to apply, but I haven't heard anything from Boucher yet.
Voucher. Lord Luki should be in my team for the World Cup. Would be in my team for the World Cup, but sometimes I feel he want to do too much with the ball instead of just closing out the over. He always goes for a boundary last um, bomb if the what last ball of the over. So like you know, I do think he overthinks it a bit sometimes. You are right about that from my assessment so far. Like he has all the skills in the world, and sometimes you just need to bowl a normal delivery in the slot in the hole. Not every single ball has to be a variation ball. So I do agree with you over there. Um, where is Klaasen fitting into the SAT 2011? Personally, I think his best position again is number four. He's an attacking batsman, but not someone who hits from ball one, which we'll need to do from five or six. Exactly. So that's why he is a backup in my eyes, because there are other batters that can do the same thing that he can do, some even better. Um, we will obviously be talking about David Miller. There's a case that we want to talk about that will be on the next show that we do over the next couple of days. We will obviously try to get that Temba Bavuma interview that we've all been waiting for. I'll try to get it again tomorrow. I'll be in contact with him again tomorrow. It might be load shedding actually, because I did get a notification that the city of Joburg Central was getting load shedding, and it literally I got a notification probably 10 minutes, 20 minutes before we were supposed to start. So I wasn't sure if it's maybe that. And his phone is off. So it has to be something like that that has taken place. So apologies from his part, apologies from my part. We will try to get that interview for you guys again. But thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to smash the like button, comment, share, subscribe, click the notification bell for all the future videos, and we'll see you again very soon. Thanks a lot, teacher, for coming on the show. Sorry to all of you guys. I'm apologizing again. We'll try to get an interview with Temba very, very soon. And hopefully it will be tomorrow or Friday. So just bear with us, stay on our platform, and we'll see you guys soon. Take care. Thank you for being patient for us. Thank you for supporting us, no matter even though this has happened. I appreciate everybody coming quickly onto the new stream and finding the new stream and coming to ask us questions and saving me from embarrassment ultimately. So thanks a lot to all of you. We'll see you guys tomorrow with another daily show. Take care and stay safe, guys, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Peace.